I like to clean my brushes. There really are no rules. Makeup is something that I absolutely love. Glides like a freaking paintbrush, y'all. Duo fiber, go run and get them. Welcome back to my channel, AttorneyBrooke. I have shared a pretty good chunk of some of like my favorite makeup and styles and lots of videos like that. And I know I have been using a lot of the same brushes and utensils, instruments, things like that. I wanted to pop on and show you guys what brushes I use and also kind of like what I've collected over time, which ones I like the best, and kind of like how I use each one and like what function they have, like basically for my role with makeup. And I know a couple of you have asked about brushes and like which is the proper brush to use for different types of application and products and things like that. I want to share that with you guys, and also in conjunction with that, I wanted to share with you guys how I clean my brushes. I know that some of you have also asked about that and like what products I use to clean the brushes. So without further ado, we'll jump into that. Here I have a lot of my brushes right now are like clearly dirty, have all the makeup in them, things like that. I will show you how I clean them. The product that I use to clean them is the Pure I guess it's Castile soap by the Dr. Bronner's. Honestly, don't know how to pronounce it, whatever. This is like basically they're all in one, like super concentrated soap. It's sold, I know, like in drugstores. I get this one at like my local grocery store. I would be willing to bet Amazon sells it, so it's readily accessible. I have a pretty giant bottle, and a little goes a very, very long way because this is meant to be diluted with certain ratios of soap to water, kind of depending on what you're doing. If you purchase one of these, it's gonna last you a while, and it's pretty much like universal. It's endless of what you could do with it. It's like a cleaning product for like wiping down surfaces. You can obviously clean like your makeup brushes. I know it can be used as like a laundry detergent. I mean, the bottle has like so many different things on here that you could use it for. Yeah, laundry, mopping your floor. You could be used as dog shampoo, an all-purpose cleaner. You could use it like as literally body wash in the shower without kind of killing that. That's the soap that I use. I have it in lavender. They have a plethora of different scents that you can get. I know they also have a scentless version. So like if you feel like that would be better suited for like makeup brushes, then so be it. I would snag that one. I don't mind a little bit of a lavender scent. It's not anything like super strong or pungent, so I don't mind it. I obviously love these soaps. This brand has been around for so long. It's certified non-GMO, certified vegan, certified cruelty-free, not tested on animals. Also looks like certain aspects of this is fair trade. Great ingredient callouts. I use this. What I do, I really don't have to like show you guys. I usually have like running hot water, or I will get just like a regular old cup and do some hot water and just do like a little squirt of this. And then I use like the cup, put it in there and just like swirl it around. And like this is a powder brush, so like it's just full of powder right now. I mean, and it breaks down the product. I'm gonna hop off and I'll clean all my brushes and show you what like the after is. So like some of the biggies, like this I've used for blush for several different ones, and you can see it's in there. This is my concealer brush. I mean, the bristles are supposed to be white. This one's powder brush, so you can see like they're caked up right now. I like to clean my brushes. If like in a perfect world, I would like to clean them like once a week. I would say I get around to it maybe like every 2 weeks or so if I were to like put a number on it. And just makeup application is better. It's just softer. Obviously, it's way better for your skin. You're getting less bacteria and things like that. If you're an avid makeup user and you use brushes or even sponges, like beauty sponges, I mean, it's pretty dirty. It's been packed, so it has stuff all over it. If you use these, I would say it's pretty essential, if not like mandatory, to watch these products, especially if you're investing in like quality makeup, quality skincare, and then you're going and just putting like these doo-doo brushes on your face. It's just not good. So I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna give these all a clean, and then I'll chat about like how I use them and with what products and everything. I am back from washing all of my makeup brushes. So I've been trying out some new like hot pink cream blushes, and that's pretty disrespectful. They're clean, and like even if I like go and wipe it out on my like white towel, it's not transferring anymore, but super pigmented blush. But nonetheless, I wanted to jump in now and really get into like the meat and potatoes of what this video is about, which is what some of my favorite makeup brushes are and what I use them for. First and foremost, I think a message that I'm trying to portray and I think will become more eloquently put and more evident as I share videos with you guys and share content. But that message is that in the world of beauty and fashion and skincare and all of that, I think there really are no rules. There are definitely trends that are set that really pick up a lot of like the mainstream flow, and that's where we get a lot of products that are developed and kind of trickle down based off of those trends. Like right now we're getting a lot of good like pretty cream products. We're getting a lot of clean products. We're getting a lot of those new bronzers, a lot of products that are meant to give you that good glowy base, because that's like what is trending right now versus like a super stark, like mattified kind of look, which is I think what was in, a few years ago. But nonetheless, we do have trends, and there are some trends that I hop on and there's some that I don't. And then there's just some makeup staples and skincare staples that have been tried and true for me personally and what I like. So I will always go back to that and I will always stick to it. Keeping that in mind as I share these brushes is that, I don't want to sound like a broken record and have to say it every single time. I'm going to share how I use the brushes and how I think like generally they might have been designed for, but that's not always like the fast and hard truth. And that's kind of the beauty about makeup and the instruments we use to apply it, is that our face is quite literally the blank canvas, and makeup can be an outlet and an art form for most people to either just kind of have like a therapeutic, like decompressing type experience, to give them an extra boost of confidence, to kind of elicit whatever mood they might be feeling. There's just so many functions and forms of makeup and applicators and instruments that we use to apply it. So yeah, there's really no rule book that I can hold up and tell you this is exactly the makeup brush that you need to use for exactly this. So nonetheless, I have my clean brushes and I'm gonna jump into it. First and foremost, I'll grab like a chunk of them. In all my videos, you're seeing me using these like beautiful like sagey green brushes. And here's like the tips of them. These are by Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes. See if we can get a little focus on that. Each of the brushes of the collab are marked and branded that way. Katie Jane Hughes is a makeup celebrity artist, professional makeup artist, and like an editorial makeup artist. I have been following her Instagram for so long. I would say that she's probably my favorite makeup artist I follow, and a lot of my style makeup and a lot of the tips and tricks I've learned, and also like the fluidity of makeup that I've learned, has 100% come from her. When she developed these brushes and came out with them, I immediately wanted to get my hands on them. My mom actually got them for me for Christmas, so shout out mom. And I have really, really loved these. I'm just like old folk, commoner, peasant over here trying to do makeup, but makeup is something that I absolutely love. So investing in these brushes has really changed the game for me and just made it so enjoyable, and I really love it. Katie Jane Hughes and Spectrum developed these. I know she makes one bundle of her brushes that come with like every single one in the collection, and I think that's like 20 plus brushes that come in it. I know her big one comes in like a cylinder type green holder where you like, and it's more for like if you have a professional kit, or even if like you have your own vanity set up at home, that's how you store the brushes, kind of bristle up, and they're kind of always there for you, your go-to to grab. And also I know it has like a top that you can pop onto it, so like for traveling purposes and things like that. I have her I guess like middle like pack of brushes that come with obviously less, I don't know exactly how many, and it also came with this like special KJH by Spectrum microfiber towel. Mine I've been using, so it has like makeup and stuff on it, but I literally have this towel in front of me as I'm doing my makeup and products, and that's what I'm like wiping stuff on. And using this is absolutely amazing. I have to have some sort of beauty towel in front of me, or else like there's quite literally no way for me to do my makeup. So I always have something in front of me. So you get like little goodies and like add-ons if you buy that. I also purchased through her same collab with Spectrum is like, it's like a 2 or 3 brush set that's kind of like some of her bigger brushes, and I'll jump into like what those are. So I've like kind of pulled from a few of her collection, and now I kind of have a little bit of everything. I also have some older makeup brushes that are by, I believe they're the Eco Tools. Yeah, Eco Tools right here. So they're the yellow like wooden ones that you will see me pick up sometimes. I've had these literally for probably like a decade. I really, really, really like them. They're drugstore brand. They come in all different kinds of bundles and packages, so you can get them at like CVS, Walgreens, things like that. I have a few, this might be the only one I have in front of me, of the Sephora brand brushes. I really, really enjoy them. I don't have a whole lot of them, but the ones I have, I like. Other ones I have, these, I have a couple from like the KKW line. I know that like KKW makeup is like basically defunct now. So I do have like the remnants of some of her products, which are probably expired now. Don't judge me, don't really care. I still like them. And then also some of the brushes that I've purchased over time through her. I've also gotten rid of some of them because I didn't love them, and I'll talk about that. And then I have this brand. It is the It brushes for Ulta. Forgive me, but I really am not sure about, this might be like It Cosmetics. Not sure, but I have this one. I'll talk about it. And then I have this like kabuki brush I've had probably for as long as my Eco Tools, for like a decade. Like one of my like original makeup brushes, and I just like can't get rid of it. I think I got it at like a grocery store or something. So this one's drugstore as well. So I'll jump into it. What I'll do is go like kind of step by step in like what I generally pull for as I'm getting ready. So I pop on my skincare, and then what I usually do if I'm doing foundation, these are the two I go for. This is the Sephora line, and it's their number 47 Pro Foundation Brush. Again, that's number 47. You can see it's like that tapered, angular, fluffy, super soft, dense, but still extremely soft. So it's gonna allow you to pack in a lot of that product into the bristles, but then you have like the softer part that's gonna help diffuse, and it's obviously bigger, so it's gonna give you a bit more of like that general coverage, versus this is by the Katie Jane Hughes. It's her number 6 brush, and you can see the difference in size, but then you can also see the difference in width. So this one is extremely dense and it's extremely thin. Right now it's still wet from cleaning it, so you can see it's almost like razor thin. But this one is really good for foundation as well. I usually pack it in on the back of my hand, and then it's like glides like a freaking paintbrush, y'all. It's so good to me, and it's probably like just not even true, but it seems to take more foundation to get the coverage and the wear that I want when I use this one, versus way less foundation, more coverage, easier application than this one. This one can just tend to take a little bit longer because it's smaller, so you're not obviously covering as much real estate. It's just gonna take longer. It's a bit more meticulous, but like I don't mind it. You can pretty much throw it on fairly quick. But this one is really, really, really soft, and I swear it like changes the makeup of your foundation, and it makes it wear just so different and just better. This one is also good. I like if I like grab some loose powder and like really just pack it on, it's good for that too. So it just can kind of give you that snatched also like control. So these are my 2 like foundation go-to brushes. After that, I usually pop on concealer. Of her collection, this is probably the one that like if it was like you could only pick one makeup brush and that's it for the rest of your life, it would be this one. So this is her number 8 brush. You can see like, I guess comparatively smaller, and super fluffy, dense, but obviously look at like, it's very fluffy, can hold a lot of product. What I like to do is apply my concealer, swab on the concealer where I want it, and then this just to go in. I like a more diffused, kind of less intentionally placed concealer, so I like this bigger brush, and it's gonna allow me to get that coverage that I'm wanting applying without it being like too overly intentional. Now, another good brush that I like that would be good if you want a bit more of a meticulous brush placement is Katie Jane Hughes number 11 brush. Same kind of makeup, very fluffy, but you can see smaller, so you can kind of get into a little bit more, and it's going to give you a bit more control. Also, like this one is just good for highlighter, packing on powder, literally anything. This is like my favorite brush. It's just overall universal. After I do my concealer with that, I sometimes take a look, especially if I'm popping on a lot of foundation or I'm cocktailing my foundation with something. This is where I go in with my beauty blenders. So I believe these are by Real Technique. My cousin Meme got me on these, and I just like won't venture out because they're so good. I'm not a big sponge person, not because one, like I said, is right or wrong. I just like using brushes, preferably over sponges. I just feel like you have better control, more meticulous control of your product, the placement, and just overall wear, especially when you're using good quality brushes. This, to me, soaks up more of the makeup than it actually puts it at like the opacity that I want it, where I want it, things like that. So what I use makeup sponges for, always dampen your sponge, always. Otherwise, like it's just, you're not gonna get the application you want. Dampen the sponge. I like to go in and I will very lightly just blend in any foundation and like concealer placement I have. It's just gonna help work like your skincare in with the foundation. It's gonna help eliminate any like concealer creases with any eye creams you might be having. It's gonna help set the eyelids a little better, and it's also can help take away brush strokes that might still remain from this. So if I'm quickly applying it, I can go in, pat it in, and it's gonna give it a way better blend. So this is just like your universal makeup blender. I always love having these on hand. So once I have my like base foundation kind of set in, then I like to go in with my cream products. I love a cream bronzer. I'm sure you guys have figured that out by now. So what I like to use, this is like my little janky KKW one. It was a dual ended and it had like this like mini beauty sponge on this side that like you could wet and like go in, but honestly it sucked. There's just like really no other word. It was like very hard and like yuck, and like the sponge itself wouldn't really absorb like dampness. It was just weird. But nonetheless, it literally broke off, and like don't care where it's at. What I love is this side of it, extremely dense bristles, not as compact, but still dense. I love to do this with cream bronzers. Like I have this one in front of me. You guys have seen me do it. I like to really pack in, really pack in the cream product into the dense, and then I like to stipple the cream product with this dense brush. Again, a bit more meticulous with the placement. You could absolutely go in like with a fluffier brush and get you a good amount of that cream and just really kind of like go in everywhere. I like a more dense bronze look, like you can see it more kind of intentionally packed on where I want it. So I like to go in and stipple on the hairline and do this kind of, and then I'll do like light strokes to kind of blend it out and really kind of like take my time. Love a good dense brush for that. Now, after that, I usually jump in with either more bronzer or some kind of cream blush. These are probably like my second favorite brushes, other than Katie Jane Hughes number 8 that I talked about. These are freaking amazing. Okay, these are her duo fiber makeup brushes. So I've talked about these before in other videos. I probably sound like a broken record, but you can see the makeup of them. You can see that they're dense right here. And then you have like the light, airy second set of bristles that are above it. And you can see these are relatively the same size, same exact density. You can just see the difference is that one is like that tapered and one is just all around more circular clear and like even. You can kind of see the purpose of how I use them. So like this one, okay, let me backtrack. Duo Fiber and like Katie Jane Hughes, she preaches about these too, and I've just like learned by like kind of mimicking how she uses them. You can use them for powder products, actual powders, powder blushes. You can use them for cream products. I really, really like them for cream products because it allows you to pack in that cream product within the dense part of the bristles, and then it's gonna allow you to disperse that cream product super soft and more like just daintier through the light airy bristles, and it's just gonna give you better blend without having to instantly pack on a cream product and it's sticking, and then you're forced to like blend from wherever it was you placed it. This is just gonna give you that like pretty, just like flowy, easy diffused application for cream products. So that's why I like these. I just tend to grab the tapered one for my blushes. I will literally just go like, pretend this is a cream blush. I'll just go in, grab the product, and then I use like the back of my hand to really get it into the fibers. And then that's when I like to hold it this way and just really kind of paint on that color. And then I'm lightly going in to like diffuse and blend out. I like to place my blush, you can see real high up on the temples. So I just like love to go ham with this. These are some of the best freaking makeup brushes. Duo Fiber, go run and get them. So then I think about like, okay, what powder products do I want to wear? Do I want to go in and like intensify any bronzer, intensify any blush? And so that's when I typically go in with this large brush, like in comparison to like the number 8, my favorite Katie Jane Hughes. Like obviously way bigger. This is like a large kabuki brush, can hold obviously a shit ton of product. I will go in like, this is a pretend powder bronzer, go in, grab a pretty generous amount of it, of powder, and then I will tap off any excess real good. And then again, I do like a stippling with, I like to go in and intensify with powder bronzer, and I'll go in and really stipple in like this. And again, I'll have like that cream underneath, so I'm really not wanting to like do this without like pulling and removing all the work I did underneath. So I'll go in, stipple in some good color, just kind of everywhere to give myself that color I want. This is just like a really good universal like blending brush for powder products. So good. I keep this on hand. After that, if I need to go in with any kind of powder blush, I'll do that. I actually don't have that brush right in front of me. I'll just jump into this one. It's very, very similar. It's just like a short little stubby one that's by the Eco Tool line. It's just a blush brush. This one I've used for blush many a times. You can see just super fluffy, super soft. This is another one of my absolute favorite brushes by her. All around universal shape and brush. Good for blushes, good for blending, just bigger overall blend that you can get from it. What I like to do with this one specifically, I will go in with like a good setting powder that I like, get a good amount on it, tap it off, and then I go in with this one and I will like go like this and pack underneath my eye and pull it up for like a lifting effect to really go in and lock in any of those. That eye care, the concealers, the powders. Another thing I like to do with this one, and also again, the number 8, smaller one, I will go in with my number 8 before I hop into powders, and I really, whatever's left of concealer in the brush, I never add more. I go in and I'll kind of snatch it to really redefine that concealer and the brightness under the eye. And then I will take it and you can kind of diffuse and more control that cream product placement and really give it a little bit of definition, blend it out a bit, go around the nose, make sure that concealer is nice and blended, forehead, blend out. So this is just a good, like more meticulous type blending, whereas this one's good too. I'll go in with the powder and then I'll kind of create that like same kind of dimension I created with the smaller one and really set everything. Just really light coat of powder where I want it. That's why I love this brush, and I'm already getting crap all over it. Now from there, I would probably jump into like eyes because I would have my face where I wanted it. I have it set. Now, what I like to do for highlighter, I've showed you guys a million times my Dior Backstage Glow palette. I also love using these duo fibers, again, because you're not like as harsh with the amount of product you're using with that highlighter, and it's gonna let you get that like look you want with these light bristles. I go in like this. I like to do the jawline, nose, forehead, all that. Another good one that I like is the KKW, this like dual-ended one. You can see they're like, these are my crazy frizzy girls, but they dry down just fine. I also like to pack in powder. I'll set underneath the eye with that right here. I can also use this one as well to place more meticulous highlight if I want, and just kind of like diffuse that out. This end I typically love to use because it's so just like fluffy and small. If I want like a pretty blurred lip, I'll go in and do that. Or what I like to use this one for, like a good like fall color. If I don't want to go in and it be like wapa, like it's fall time, I'll go in and I grab the product on this, and then I'll go in and give it like a pretty blurred like lip stain kind of look. So it allows you to control like the opacity of like more intense lipsticks like this, as opposed to going straight on and it's like super like deep and like waxy. It gives you a really pretty like diffuse, so like little fluffy brush is good for that. Now after that, on a regular day-to-day, I would typically go in and focus now like on my eyes and brows. My current brow routine I have filmed, and you guys can check that out. I usually go in and just kind of pencil in some definition, but your absolute best friends for your brows is 100% hands down always going to be your spoolies. So this is part of obviously the Katie Jane Hughes collab. So this is her spoolie side of it, and then on the other side it's dual-ended, super like snatched, tapered, small bristles that were designed so if you're using like a brow wax or something and you want to get those brush like strokes filling in, super good for that. Also super good for like going in real stippled and like deep into like the eyelash line, things like that. Another good spoolie that I have, this one is by e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is just their lash brow wand. I literally think I paid like $2 for this. I've had it for so long, and it holds up honestly better than this one's holding up. Like this one's starting to like pull out. You can see the wire. So I just have to be kind of like special with her. This one, tried and true, literally $2. e.l.f. brushes are great. I love e.l.f. products. Don't be scared to snag this one. Spoolies are your favorite friend for your eyebrows, especially if you're just wanting as simple as combing through your brows, just so they're not, you know, like Einstein electrocuted style. Like if you wake up and they're a little cray, you could brush through, be done. You could use styling wax with these. You can diffuse product that's already in there. Spoolies are even good, like if you kind of knock some mascara somewhere, let the mascara dry, take a spoolie, and you can literally like lightly grab the product and pull it off the skin without having to just like take a Q-tip and completely wipe off everything that you worked for. I absolutely love the spoolies. I use these for the brows. So the next thing that I would typically use, I think that's pretty much it for me on a day-to-day, because I don't always wear eyeshadows and stuff. Like if I do, sometimes I'll use eyeshadow, or like I'll take this just with my finger and pop on something, which just kind of goes to show like, yeah, I'm talking about brushes and sponges, but like your fingers are also like some amazing freaking makeup tools that you kind of learn to use. Yeah, on a day-to-day, that's typically what I use. But when I do want to do more glam and more of an eyeshadow look, I grew up and my family literally called me ET eyes because they're really big. How I kind of wear my makeup now, they don't look as big, but if I put on like my eyeliner and my eyeshadow and stuff, like I literally look like this. I remember my grandma, my Nana Bingo, would literally pray for me because my eyes were so big and I was like kind of ugly. But that's fine. I grew into them. Nonetheless, eyeshadow brushes, I'm just kind of snagging, and I'll talk through them quickly because for those out there that are like eyeliner, liquid liner, eyeshadow liner, eyeshadow connoisseurs, like obviously it's endless. It's absolutely endless what you could use. Here's just like a handful of what I have. Now, my favorite go-tos are 100% this one, this one, this one, all of them, this one, and probably like this one would be it. So I'll talk about my faves. So if I'm going in and doing some eyeshadow, usually on a day-to-day, what I'm doing is I go in like I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes right here. Like here's a good Smashbox, like browns. If I'm doing an everyday, I'm gonna grab the Katie Jane Hughes. It's her number 11 brush, super fluffy. And it's larger. It's one of the largest like eyeshadow brushes that I own, but this one, like I said earlier, would be good for concealer placement, blurring the lip, literally anything. I would go in with probably something like this one or like this one, really pack it in there, tap it, and I would go in and do like with this pretty big fluffy one, like a good contour, just like bronzy shadow look. Like I would get in right here in the socket. I have hooded eyes, so I would create a crease more up top, things like that. I would probably pull it up, bring it out. This one's really good for that. Also bringing like down the side of the nose. Favorite go-to eyeshadow brush. This is my one. Now, what I've learned and kind of like the tricks and tips I've learned with eyeshadow is less dense and fluffier for more of your transition shades, your bronzing, more where you're wanting to get just overall coverage. You're gonna go in with this. And then like as you want to add in more of a meticulous look and more of a particular placement, you're gonna go in with denser, smaller, more compact brushes that can even go all the way down to this one. Your super skinny, real snatched look. So my go-tos are usually these first three. I usually just focus more on like some overall shading, things like that. Absolutely do not get me wrong though. This is gonna be like my transitions. I'm gonna take this one usually with like a darker and I start creating that outer corner. Same with this one, I would go with even a darker shade and really start intentionally going in on like my natural crease and creating a more pigmented crease that's gonna like diffuse out with what I put in with that fluffier transitional color. This is gonna start creating more of that outer quarter dimension. It's gonna allow me to get closer in on my eye line and things like that. And then when I'm really wanting to go in and like truly create some placement, like this more like skinny, tapered, more dense one is really gonna allow you to like pack on some product. You can use the tip of it like this to really pinpoint where you're wanting product. Same, this one's a little too dense for my preference. It's not gonna give me that like pretty blurred blended effect that I want, but I like this end of it. Super short and dense. Love this side of the brush. These are very similar to where you can get that good underline eyeshadow blurred effect. Things like that are good. This one's also gonna allow me to pack on like some pretty dark brown and really focus into the eye. If I wanna focus some eyeliner kind of out here, some pretty smudged blended eyeliner, it's gonna give me more of that pulled kind of like cat eye versus if I took some this and wanted to really focus it more towards the center of my eye line, it's gonna give me more of that open like baby doll effect. Really what I'm saying is that any of these smaller brushes are gonna allow you to get in and get that placement that you're wanting, all the way down to, like I said, like this skinny one. If you wanted to grab like some setting spray, grab like a little chunk of your powdered eyeshadow, give it a good blend so it's gonna give you that pasty liquid eyeliner to work with. you would dab it in. A good trick in general with these kind of brushes is to really concentrate the brush, but then on a clean part of your hand, give it like a good drag, and that's gonna give you a test of what that eyeliner is gonna place like on your skin. Oh, it's too watery and too thin. Maybe I need to add in a bit more of my powder product. Oh, like it's too pasty. It's not really giving that spread that I want. Let me add a little spritz of my setting spray. So that's gonna allow you to cocktail literally whatever type of liquid eyeliner you want. And this is gonna allow you to get enough to pack in a lot of product. So you're not really like, you know, running out of product as you're lining, but it's also gonna allow you to really get in and give that like snatched look. I am not an eyeliner connoisseur. I love eyeliner. It's very, very, very pretty. Don't love winged eyeliner on me because I have hooded eyes, so it tends to just like disappear when I open my eyes, and I just not my thing. But when I do eyeliner, I do like a really pretty dark, like smoky smudged one. That's what I like. So yeah, like these denser brushes are gonna allow you to go in, even if you go in with like a traditional like artist pencil or eyeliner, you can do an intentional line, and then you can take a dense one and go in and really blur it out and pull it where you want it, and it's gonna give you that kind of control. This is Katie Jane Hughes number 9 brush, which is also pretty unique. You can see like razor thin this way and pretty like stippled and rectangular going this way. Dense, you know, tougher to the touch. I like this one because if I do want to do like a super snatched eye or something, this just allows you to lightly like start and kind of pull and like lightly kind of create that dimension. If you're wanting that kind of look, it can just kind of help you clean up any kind of liner, give it a little bit more wing, things like that, going in real meticulously on the waterline, things like that. The only other thing I kind of wanted to talk about, which was similar to this KKW dual-ended side, I said I like to use this one with like applying lip color. These types of brushes are cool too. This is Katie Jane Hughes number 15 and her number 20 brush. You can see this one's a bit thinner, more like intentional and like the tapering. This one's a bit fluffier, but very similar in a sense. This one I like to go in, like if I'm wearing a good red lip and it's kind of rough, I can go in and like really clean it up kind of thing. Go in with like some concealer if you want to like super be intentional. This one I like if I am lining my lips and I want a bit more blur, just kind of like pouty, like contour kind of liner. This is controlled enough, but also fluffy enough to go in and really disrupt it. So you get that like overall kind of contoured, blurred look, which is like, again, trendy and in right now. Those are a lot of my go-tos. This one I talked about earlier, I don't even know the brand anymore. It's drugstore. Super fluffy kabuki brush, which is a little bit smaller in comparison to this one that I like to use for like my bronzers at the beginning. This one I always throw in my purse because I always have some sort of powder with me, like just like a translucent type powder, because I get oily throughout the day. So I'll go in with this one in a little makeup bag I keep in my purse. I'll dust on, tap off, and then I'll just like lightly go in my T-zone, kind of reset under my eyes, just the forehead, right here on the cheeks and right here. And then if I'm like super shiny, I'll kind of pull it over. Doesn't disrupt any of the pigment, anything like that on my skin. It's just like a good overall blending kabuki brush that I like. That's the rundown of brushes. I know this has been a bit long-winded, but I really wanted to touch on everything. If you guys like have any kind of questions about any of the brushes or whatever, drop that in the comments and I would love to interact with you guys about that, because I do think that makeup applicators and like instruments are like integral to makeups. It's one thing to talk about the product, but it's also just like a whole other facet of makeup to talk about how you apply it. Like I said, there's no rules. I'm a brush gal. I've just kind of learned and enjoyed using brushes versus sponges. But I mean, there's a whole array of like family of sponges out there. This is just like a big just kind of typical one. They go all the way down to like itty bitty. They go to like the angular, like, you know, sharp type ones that you can get different looks with. You can kind of use it for like some setting powder and like snatch it and like drop a bunch of setting powder under here to really give you like that mattified look. No right or wrong. That's my like general brush collection. I know I have some floaters kind of everywhere, but I showed you a lot of like my typical go-tos. Again, the Katie Jane Hughes is like kind of the first line of like quality brushes I have invested in, and I would say that they are 100% worth the price. The quality is amazing. I also really love that Katie Jane Hughes uses her products. Obviously, why would she not? But like in her stories and her reels and her Instagram posts, she talks about these. She teaches you how to use them, and also just like the fluidity or like the universal use of all of her brushes. And she shows you just different applications of different products and her brushes. And so that's how I've learned over time, is just from her and kind of enjoying that process. So that's about it. That's all I have for you. You know, at some point I'll create some videos that kind of concentrate a bit more and show you exactly how I apply those products and like create a smoky eye. And I would love to share that with you. But this was just overall brush collection and kind of the ins and outs of that. That's about it. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions about brushes or anything like that, give me a shout out and I will see what I can do. If you want to see more of my content that I'm coming out with and want to kind of join me along in this journey, hit that subscribe button. And love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.